Who is realistically going to stop the Kansas City Chiefs from three-peating? I've got 6 realistic teams here. I'd like to say probably only 2 are realistic just based off what we've seen in recent memory, maybe 4. But I've got the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Cowboys, the Niners, the Lions. The Lions, because I know they have the firepower. Now, Dan Campbell does need to get a little more acclimated with his aggressive play calling in the NFC Championship and in playoff games and in late game situations, but they've got the talent. Now, will Jared Goff be enough to beat Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl? I'm not necessarily sure of that. We saw Goff beat him in maybe the greatest regular season game ever. We also saw Goff fall short in a Super Bowl when he was with Sean McVay. The San Francisco 49ers, who they just played. And we're going to talk about them in the next segment. You ask the question of how much better can San Francisco really get? Because they're loaded everywhere. Offensively, defensively, the quarterback position is solid. No, it's not great. And we saw that in the Super Bowl. The trenches on both sides, the superstar power that the Niners present, I think it's a no-brainer that they could be a team to come in and stop them. Kyle Shanahan's going to have to get over the hump. He's going to have to coach better situationally. The Dallas Cowboys, and I know I'm not trying to troll, I'm not trying to be funny here. We know what the Cowboys have on the roster. And in a serious but also kind of funny way, because I know the haters are out there. I'm a little bit of a hater included because we know what they do to us every year. Look at the playoffs against the Packers. They've got the roster to be able to do it, but they also don't have the roster to be able to do it because of how they've played in recent playoffs and how they've played down the stretch. They've got the firepower, but do they have the coaching? Do they have the quarterback? That is left to be determined. But if you're talking about bringing the pieces to the table, because we've seen teams this year with Mahomes get him off his spot, get him off his rocker. 27 touchdowns, 14 picks for a guy this year. I still believe he could have won the MVP. I still believe he should have been in the MVP conversation. And with what the Cowboys have at their disposal, especially defensively. Now, I know Dan Quinn's out of there. It could be something to be reckoned with. The top 3 teams that I feel like could really derail the Chiefs three-peat, the Bengals. They are one of Patrick Mahomes' sole postseason losses. 2 to Brady, 1 to Joe Burrow. The Bengals could stop the Chiefs from their three-peat because Joe Burrow can go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. Those rosters can go toe-to-toe with each other. Now, I'm not going to say that Zach Taylor is going to hold a candle to Andy Reid's coaching, but it's very possible. It is very possible that the Bengals could stop them because we've seen them stop them on the way to a Super Bowl before. And if it isn't for 2 quarterbacks named Tom Brady and Joe Burrow, the Chiefs have 6 Super Bowl appearances. Now, obviously, we have to put things in realistic perspective, and you're going to have to lose over time. Not everything's going to be perfect in this league. That's what separates the good ones from the great ones. But the Bengals have a case to do it. The Baltimore Ravens, who they just played in the AFC Championship. Lamar Jackson is still electric as ever. I do believe he can learn to still grow on being a pure pocket passer and really buckling down in those tight game moments, specifically in the playoffs when he needs to. But they've got the defense. I believe Harbaugh could go toe-to-toe with Andy Reid because the AFC Championship, the score was tight, but we know that the Chiefs played better than the Ravens and outplayed them in more spots than they didn't. And that's okay. But the Ravens also came forward and had their fair share of plays as well. Still believe the Chiefs would be able to get through them, but the Ravens have a chance. And finally, the Buffalo Bills. Kind of the same as the Niners, maybe the AFC version of the Niners. When are they going to get over the hump? Maybe the same with the Ravens as well. When are they going to get over the hump? Josh Allen, Sean McDermott. We understand the players that are on both sides of the ball for the Buffalo Bills. But Buffalo has to play better situationally against the Chiefs as well. We saw them lose to the Chiefs in the divisional. I had Buffalo winning. And that is why you don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. Because even when he's an underdog, he's not really an underdog. It might be 85 to 90% of the game where he's struggling to get things going and doing what he actually needs to do. But it's just like I said in the Super Bowl. This feels like another game to where the Chiefs are going to struggle to put simple things together. They're going to have a few good plays here and there, but when it really comes down to it, third down, fourth down, red zone, fourth quarter, overtime, they are always delivering. And that's what makes them Kansas City. And that is what these 6 teams, more often than not, can't do, which is why it's going to be hard for them to stop Kansas City. But I guess if I had to rank these top 3 teams that could really stop them, Bengals 1. I'll probably go Ravens 2, Bills 3. No, take that back. Bengals 1, Ravens 2, Niners 3. I'll probably go Bills 4, Cowboys 5, Lions 6. And at the end of the day, we know that this Kansas City Chiefs team is now the new dynasty. I mean, that's what they are. There is no Bruns. What's up, man? Megan, what's up? Good to have y'all in the chat. Thank y'all for popping into episode 65 tonight. There's no question that the Kansas City Chiefs are the dynasty of the 2020s, the 2010s, whatever the hell you want to call it. 3 chips in 5 years. 4 Super Bowl appearances in 6 years, 4 AFC titles, 3 postseason losses over the last 6 years. Brady in the Super Bowl, Brady in the AFC Championship, Joe Burrow in the AFC Championship. This is the best 5-year run compared to the legendary 80s 49ers teams, compared to the legendary early 2000s New England Patriots teams, and compared to the legendary 1970s Pittsburgh Steelers teams. The Chiefs are the first team to win back-to-back Super Bowls, like I said, since the 03-04 Patriots. If they become the first team to win 3 in a row, they will match the 1970s Steelers with 4 Super Bowl victories in a 6-year span. We could be sitting up here next year talking about the Chiefs winning 4 Super Bowls in 6 years and going to 5 within 7. And Mahomes having a 4th ring and having a 4th Super Bowl MVP. Now, we'll hold off on that. Don't want to get too long-winded about this dynasty talk because it's very apparent what these Chiefs are. Even if they don't win a 3rd one in a row next year, they're still a dynasty. They have still established themselves as such. The Chiefs are the first team to win a Super Bowl with the highest cap hit in history with Patrick Mahomes. He's the first MVP to win. He's the first MVP to win the Super Bowl since Kurt Warner in Patrick Mahomes, and they can be the first team to three-peat. But again, teams that have gone back-to-back have never went to the 3rd straight Super Bowl in a row to actually make it happen. I want to hear from y'all down in the comments.